All right, going to get into a little bit of shadow boxing and really going to break down some basic elements, but things that I feel are really important to address. And oftentimes when we don't have time to really focus on these things, we just go through the motions and we miss these little opportunities to correct very minute or sometimes big mistakes in our shadow boxing, which will then lead to our heavy bag, which then leads to our focus mitts and tie pads and glove drills and sparring, etc., etc. So you want to think and always keep this in mind, that practice makes habit. What you do over and over and over, day in and day out, will start to become just part of what you do. All right? And if you have a mistake, those mistakes will grow as the intensity goes up. So we want to make sure we take care of all those little problems now when we have the time to address them. So I'm going to start out just thinking about, obviously, basic positioning. Your hands are up, your chin is down. You want to basically roll your shoulders over so that you're a little bit, got the turtle back here. You're going to be always trying to think of boxing behind your shoulders. Now another thing that's really important is right here in your pelvis. A lot of people just kind of stand like this and they're actually back on their rear foot. Their weight is on their rear foot, which obviously if I was defending and wanting to use my legs or whatever, that's a different story. But if I'm actually trying to attack and drive my body weight into something, I want my body forward. Plus, if you're thinking about efficiency, if my body weight is back here and then I'm going to move to go forward, this little motion right here telegraphs what you're going to do. Also takes time away from actually landing that shot very efficiently and effectively, and it forces me to adjust my entire position. So why not just focus on having the adjustment made right away? So think about this. Your pelvis right here, your stomach, as if you were hit in the stomach, your body moves forward. Body moves forward. Your arms are as if you have a towel wrapped around your head, you're pulling your body forward. So your basic position is your pelvis is rocked forward, your elbows are in, your chin is tucked, hands are up. And if you think, if your hands are up by your eyebrows, awesome. The reason is, as you may start to tire, your hands drop a little bit. They're still covering your chin and face. If I start here, I get tired a little bit, I drop, I'm not covering my head at all. So keep your hands up. Now again, you could be moving all over the place, step and slide, all that, but this is really going to be focusing on what's happening from basically the waist up. Your chin is down, your chin is tucked. All right, you're looking out the top of your eyebrows. You have a slight, raising of your shoulders, but you're not tense. Just raising them up so that your chin is tucked behind your shoulder. Now, as you're moving around, you snap your shot out. Snap, snap. The goal is to try to, especially with your jab, bring it straight out. There is no need to wind up. You're here, snap. You pop your jab out. Pop your jab out. Pop, pop, pop your jab out. So we're going to break down the jab a little bit. You're right here. You got just a basic single jab. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Not really thinking other than just jabbing, jabbing. Moving around, jab. You might be, as you're stepping, you have your motion going forward with it. You might be going back with it. All right? But you're just basically throwing that jab out there. Now, one thing I want you to think about is your elbow. There's a line that goes from here directly to your target. Bam. So it just goes straight in and straight back. A lot of times what happens, people lift this elbow a little bit and then they jab. They jab. They jab. So the first thing that happens is this. People react to movement and motion. So they're already deflecting and covering before your fist is even moving forward because they see this movement. So this hand or this elbow stays right where it's at, bump, and your jab and your hand just flies right out. So as you're moving, boom, 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 boom. All right, so you're just popping that jab out without lifting your elbow. Straight in, straight out. Straight in, straight out. Turning that fist right at the very end. Comes back, right back into position. Simple motion. Now, as you start to progress, you have your single jab. Then you can think single, then double, then triple. So as I'm moving around, single, double, triple, right? Moving around, single, double, triple, right? Moving around, single, double, triple, moving around, keeping your hands up. The other thing is, this elbow stays in and tight. Another mistake that is made is as you're throwing out your jab, this elbow comes up, leaving an opening here, especially if there's kicking or body shots, tackles, anything. You want to keep this shield and this cover down. Your hands are up, pop, pop. You're just popping that jab out, popping that jab out. Keeping your cover up, your chin down. There's no reason to lift this elbow up. There's no reason to move anything other than that jabbing hand if you're just doing a basic jab. Now, as you're progressing, obviously we have just our basic jab, double jab, triple jab, whatever you want to work. Then we have our low jab, all right? So when you're dropping your body for that low jab, all right, you want to drop forward and you want to bend your knee. And notice I'm really hiding behind my shoulder here. The reason is because you're taking this whole cover sequence and this whole structure and you're dropping it low. And if I keep my head and chin up, boom, I'm open. I'm open for a lot of stuff. All right, so I want to make sure I'm right here. My hands are up. Hitting low. Really focusing on my cover. My shoulder comes up, bounces off my cheekbone. All right, so as I'm right here, bouncing off the cheekbone, come right back into position. So as you're moving around, focus on constantly bringing that shoulder and bouncing it off your cheekbone. If you go low, you're bending your legs, you're stepping forward slightly, keeping your head down, hand is up, come right back to position. Okay, so that's just a basic low jab. Then you start to combine your low jab with your high jab. So the goal is to drop your opponent's cover down here, therefore leaving a little bit more open up top. So I'm here, moving around, a low jab, high jab. Moving around, low jab, high jab. Low, high. Low, high. Low, high. Vice versa. High, low. High, low. High, low. High jab, drifting down low. Low jab. Come right back into position. Elbows are still in. Once you have that, then you can start playing with different types of jabs. There's another jab. A lot of times, you're just trying to get a reaction, or you're thinking more of like an eye jab, but we call it a flicker jab. And very relaxed, flick, flick, flick. You're just flicking it out there, flicking it out there. Not really trying to think about power, boom, your speed. You flick it, flick it, flick it, flick it, flick it, flick, flick. You're just flicking that jab out there, flicking it, flicking it. And again, you want to think like you're trying to whip with your fingers to flicker, all right? If I tense, I'm not going to be able to flick it out there. So again, be really relaxed and loose with your hands and your elbow, and it just snaps out. Snap, 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 snap. Just flick, flick, flick. Flick it out there. It's called a flicker jab, okay? From the flicker jab, you have more of a power jab now. This one, you actually can do a lot of damage with. Just like anything, timing is the essence, but as I'm here, I'm really going to think about my fist, my two knuckles lined up perfectly with this arm. I'm going to time the impact of my jab when my foot comes down and I'm dropping. You can think of this as like makatung, all right, where I'm dropping my weight into the jab. And I'm really trying to use this to drive force and power through my target. So as I'm right here, you're really driving forward. You're trying to drop your weight as you jab. You're thinking about power. You're thinking about using this as a way to really damage the person, hitting them in the nose, hitting them in the jaw, wherever. But you just drop, drop, drop. And again, your body weight's going forward and you're driving off your rear foot. So not only are you driving, your body weight's coming forward, but right on impact, your body weight drops. So that your weight is dropping into the shot. That's more power jab, okay? Which is very much related to, but not the same as, like a marcher's jab. So you're going here, you go march, 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 march. You're just marching the person forward. You're just marching. Boom, marching. You're just doing a basic step and slide, marcher's jab. Driving the person forward, marching them forward. Almost pushing them, but not, obviously it's a jab, so it's not a push. But that's the mentality, that you're trying to march them forward, march them forward, march them into a corner, march them off a curb, march them into a wall, into the cage, into the ring, the corner post, wherever. You're trying to direct them, but you're marching them with the jab, okay? Now, you can also think about your jab, because it's such a fast and effective tool. As you're retreating, boom, boom, you're keeping that space. You're retreating and snapping the jab. I could almost think of it like I'm pushing myself back with my jab, pushing myself back, or I look at it as I'm just moving back. As I'm moving back, I'm snapping, just snapping that jab out. But I'm using my jab to create distance, to retreat. So it's another way to focus on using your jab as a way to maneuver yourself forward or backwards, okay? Now, with that in mind, you should be able to jab, since it's such a basic tool, going pretty much any direction. So we're going forward already, we're going back. If I zone off and step to a diagonal this way, I step forward this way, I step straight sideways, I step sideways, I step back at a diagonal, step back at a diagonal, so I can just snap, 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 snap. I can just start thinking about where my body is, angling, angling, angling. And then basically, if you remember the other day, we talked about our angles, X, straight across, straight down, the Escala, going off at a 45 this direction, going off at a 45 that direction, going straight to the side, going straight to the other side, back at a 45, back at a 45, straight forward, straight back. All right, so if I think about this, the first one, we went straight forward, straight back, 45-degree angle this way, come back, 45-degree angle that way, come back, straight to the side, straight to the other side, 45-degree angle back, 45-degree angle back. Again, just getting used to moving at a variety of different angles while you throw your jab. You might be slipping and jabbing, you might be slipping and jabbing, all right? Might be evading and jabbing, might be evading and slipping at the same time. But that allows you to coordinate your footwork along with your jab. Okay, so it's very important. Now, another jab is what we call the slant jab, or cutting into the tool. And this is a very sneaky jab because it actually has more length. You're right here. A normal jab, you're just kind of popping out, right? You're just popping out. A slant jab, you're actually slanting your body. Your body's angling like this first, and then boom, All right, so you're right here, normal jab comes straight out, straight back. A slant jab, you're angling and then slants in and comes back. A lot of times with this jab, you're not turning your fist around, but you're keeping more of a vertical fist. All right, maybe a little bit of a diagonal on it, but you're not trying to corkscrew it around. You're not trying to really spin that. Right, so you're right here, moving around, boom, slant, 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 slant jab. That may mean that there's a punch coming straight in, right at your target, right at your face here, and as it's coming in, you're angling, boom, and going right around it and coming right back into position. Also, you might deceptively use this one as you're coordinated with another jab where you're just hitting and there's thinking that your range is about right here. All right, it's just popping out, you're popping it out, you're popping it out, and then all of a sudden you turn, boom, and you add another 4, 5, 6 inches onto your jab because the weight is drifting onto that front leg. You're driving your body weight forward over that. So your normal jab, you'd be sitting back here in your stance, and all of a sudden you rock forward. As you're rocking forward, you're turning your shoulders, adding even more length to it, and then reaching with that jab. Normal jab, slant jab. Normal jab, slant jab. All right, so it's a long range jab, really good for creating angles and just surprising the person in front of you with the ability to hit at a range that they don't think you can hit from. All right, so you got your slant jab. Then you have basic corkscrew. Corkscrew is where I'm really turning my jab around. I'm corkscrewing my hand all the way over so that it's almost like my back of my hand, my pinky is the high side, all right? So I'm spinning all the way around. Maybe I'm trying to just corkscrew my way right inside. Boom, boom. Now, this is also, this rotating of the knuckles helps to kind of drill your way in and do a little bit more damage. So I'm right here, pop, pop, pop. All right, so I can just drill that straight in, corkscrew jab. Now, another way to think about this jab, which I usually think about it as, is a lot of times a person might be throwing a rear hand over, trying to go over the top of your jab. Maybe you threw a jab, they did a really good job, boop, and it came right over the top with that rear hand of theirs. So with this corkscrew jab, what you'll see is that my elbow kind of comes up, and it's actually up, raising up, and look at my jaw and the side of my head is kind of now protected more so with this hand and the whole arm. So as I'm here, I'm going boom, boom. So when I hit, this is actually deflecting that right hand up, and then I'm corkscrewing that in. Again, anytime someone's trying to come over or you want to intercept and punch inside their rear hand member is coming up and a lot of times angling like this. It's coming around. Most people, when they throw a rear hand, they rotate and it comes a little bit wider. And plus, if you think about the overhand right, that's probably one of the most devastating knockout punches. So this may be one of those shots that can intercept it and you hit the person simultaneously as they're hitting you. So as I'm jabbing, I'm lifting up my elbow and popping that up, pop. And I'm really trying to cover my jaw, boom, boom. So I'm actually flicking my elbow up, running into their tool, but at the same time, pop, I snap my jab, snap my jab, snap my jab. Okay? So again, this is what we call corkscrew jab, all right? Or I'm corkscrewing that around, but it can also almost be a deflecting jab. I'm deflecting their attack and I'm hitting to the inside as a deflector with my elbow or forearm. Now, the last one I'm going to address right now is our rising jab. So again, sometimes I might be down here a little bit of a shell, like in this position. And all of a sudden I'm right here, boom, and I just rise this straight up. This one lands a lot because it's a blind shot a lot of times. simply because it's coming from low to high. Their hands are in front of their face. They're looking at you right here. They're seeing your hands in front of you. But when all of a sudden this hand is down and it raises up, it comes right in between. There's a little triangle right here. See this triangle? And a lot of times their hands are up here and they're covered. And this just sneaks right up in the middle of that triangle, coming right up the line. And I might be rocking backwards. Also, boom, I pop this forward. I might be already low like this. Boom, and I just raise it. And I raise it right up. Coming right up into that line, under their jaw. Again, this might be lifting their jaw so I can come back with the rear hand. Or I might be retreating and lifting this up. Gaining some ground, and also once again coming up underneath, trying to hit their jaw or their neck from underneath and raising their chin up. So again, I might be down low, my hand, boom, and I'm raising. So there are so many different types of jabs with this lead hand. Okay, so you have, again, just your regular jab, double jab, triple jab. Right? You have your low jab, low, high, high, low. You have basically your flicker jab where you're just flickering it, flick, flick, flick. You have more of a power jab, boom, where you power jab. Then you have your marcher's jab, boom, boom, boom. Retreating jab, push, 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 retreat. And then you have your jab going different angles, back, back, to the side, forward, forward. All right, you have your slant jab, slant jab, all right, rising jab, corkscrew jab. All these different jabs can be used and developed, all focusing still on keeping this other hand up, your body in a good position, shoulders are covering your jaw and your chin, and you're boxing behind your shoulders. So again, that's just a little bit on the jab, focusing on the jab. You could spend so much time. Think about this. We're now locked in our houses, or whatever you want to call it, all right? But I've had times where I've had injured right hand, injured left hand. I've had tweaked shoulders, tweaked elbows, so I could only use one arm. So I just drill one tool. And the jab is one of your fastest tools in your upper body, most elusive, most accurate oftentimes, and it's really the shot that precedes a lot of different attacks that you're going to do anyways. So you want to become very efficient with your jab. And I would tell you this right now, I just did everything basically with the left lead, but I would do the same thing coming to my right lead. Single jab, double jab, triple jab, all right? Just a nice low jab, low to high, high to low, all right? Flicker jab, flick, flick, flicker jab, power, power jab, power jab. Marcher's jab where I'm marching forward, march, march, march. Retreating jab where I'm going back. Jab where I'm going at different angles, all right? Different footwork. I'd be doing more of my slant jab, boom, boom, slant jab, rising jab, boom, rising jab, corkscrew, Everything that I do with my left, I do with my right. And again, the more ambidextrous you are, the better. Not only better for your body to be more have more symmetry, but it's also, what if I need to change my leads because right leg, left arm, right arm, something's damaged, something's hurt. I'm fighting, all of a sudden someone comes over here and I have to turn, pop, pop, pop. I don't want to have to hop over here. I want to be able to fight on this side and fight on this side. Again, focusing on the jab, take it, work it, use the time wisely.